Happy New Year, everyone. We're going to get started any minute now. We're going live in multiple different locations, so if we are responding to comments that are not seen by you, you know where they're coming from. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Angela. Hi, Wandy. Jessica should be joining us any moment. I knew that. Did I say Angel or Angela? Forgive me, Angel. Did the timer go out already, guys? Here's Jess. Hi.
Hello.
Here, let's do. There we go. Better. Hi, everybody. Look who we have here.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Okay, awesome. Welcome, 2023, you guys. I just want to set a disclaimer before we start that I know I have, me and Jessica has as well, been going through some major recalibrations. So let's just work through this energy together and flow. Maybe we'll talk about some downloads that Jessica, I love your hair. I fucking love your hair.
Thank you.
It's so bougie. I love it. I love to see Jess experimenting with her hair as it changes. But
So it
this
grows
is just,
back in.
yeah. But I love it short. Anyway, enough about your hair. My hair is growing out so awkward. I have to wear a hat. How are you guys? How are your holidays? How was your New Year? How are you feeling?
Have you been since the summer? I know I have been on quite the roller coaster ride since the summertime. That is for sure. Like, summer I spent in meditation with Yeshua and Mary Magdalene and really understood perception, you know, really understood perception in a whole new way. And then
Perception in conjunction with relationships.
just perception and like how like our life, because we talk about, you know, being a character in a movie
Mm-hmm.
or being the writer of your movie, and it's just really understanding what that means. For me, like, it's been really understanding, especially with the Scorpio energy too that came along with that, realizing how my life played out, like how and why, and understanding the energy, behind it, and finding that one core thing that really set the stage for, how that I feel like now it's like how that book would play out, because now having the awareness of perception and how perception can really just get you lost in no choice and lost in have to and
It goes back to
lost in
the I don't know frequency, right?
yeah.
Because we're programmed in our relational sector of human life growing up, in our relational ability to navigate life as we grow up. We are conditioned through um
Programs,
through programs,
perceptions.
really through reactions, right? And when we are initiating a reaction that then makes us feel unsafe, alone, then we begin to placate and adjust our energy. But we've been talking about this for a long time, but it's the layers of it, and we say that all the time too. It's that when we start to delve back into these things, we start to feel more and more depth to it, right? We might have been talking about this a long time ago, but the words that match the frequency now are more robust because there is more detail and depth to it, right? And so for all of us, this is not comfortable. And for me
Because
personally,
there's
go
been time of stabilizing that frequency, and each layer of stabilizing the frequency, you're able to see things now in a different way than what you were before. Go ahead, I'm not cutting you off.
no, no, you're fine. For me personally, I was having a conversation with this uh to Jess about this to Jess earlier, which is that, I feel like I feel this impulse or this desire to want to justify my experience in order for me to show up, right? Where I have to almost show up and make everyone okay with with the choices that I've made before I'm even able to contribute. And just that energy of like, well, what do I have to offer? Where,
Sorry.
it's okay. Where's my value in this? You know what I mean? And that's something that's been very triggering, is something that I've been working through. And again, it goes all back to perception, right? Because in my perception, in my reality, in my truth of truths, in my body knowing, I know that the choices that I've made have not always been fully conscious, but at least I know that in my most recent years, my choices have been to serve my soul and to serve me in awareness and to serve me in peace. And I understand and I feel and I know within my knowing the value of where I stand right now. Let me block this person. But like I was saying, it goes back to perception, right? And that perception of feeling like my perception or our perception has to be crystal clear for you guys to be feel safe to show up and be a part of the conversation and be open, right? So I just want to start 2023 off personally. My own, I guess you could say, intention for this life is to start 2023 honest and accountable. Because when we're honest and accountable, what we really end up finding out, especially when we ask the questions, is a lot of what we suffer through is in the distortions of perception. And a lot of that perception is a result of the disease of separation, right? And this collective illness that we all share. So my idea and what I would like to do is I'd like to pull some of these cards and see, and maybe Jessica, if you want to pull some of your cards and we can get into a collective energy, and then we'll see where it flows from there. I can't hear you anymore, friend. I think you muted yourself.
I did. Haha. I'm back. You know, the thing that I have to say, like for myself personally, I like to experiment with what it is that I'm sharing. You know, as a generator, you know, my human design, I'm here to respond, and for me to respond in a way that I feel accountable and authentic in, it's after I've experimented, you know, and after what is going on tonight?
It's okay. Don't worry about that stuff. I'll block it.
After I experimented, you know, it's understanding like it's about choice, and it's about, you know, choosing my body awareness, consistency, and choosing my body awareness. And that's really what it is, you know, and for me, the more I'm aware of my body awareness, the more I'm able to finally create a life that's a life that I desire. And like it's amazing. It's amazing to create my jewelry and to give to people, and for them to see and witness them, you know, enjoy the benefits of the stone and the benefit of my Reiki that I put into these pieces, you know, selling these beautiful mystery boxes that I did. Like it tickles my heart. Like it just, I feel such satisfaction in that, you know. And for me, like I've done it with and without the ambulance, you know, with and without the tools, you know, to assist in this. And when you add certain frequencies, you know, from different stones, they really do assist you in this journey. And it's really about stepping into who you are, and being okay with who you are. Like I
Right.
talk a lot. That's who I am.
Being okay with who you are in the face of a conflict of perception, right?
because
Because
because because me talking, so like when I say I talk a lot, right? There's a perception from others, right? That I picked up that I overshare, I talk too much, I this, I that, right? So that's where we talk about where we start placating, right? So like truth in my human design, I'm a 1222 baby. I'm like an open channel right there for communication. That's what I do. I talk. That's a part of my design, right? And so, for me to embrace a true frequency that is mine, and to understand that for other people, that may not work for them, and that's perfectly fine too. But I don't need to create something wrong with myself because it doesn't work for them, right?
which is our egos or our unconsciouses, or our unconscious primary um, defense mechanism, and that's just what it's been. Think about it. A deeper
Because, like
part of
you were
you is
saying,
saying,
though,
"Hey, don't be that aspect, because that aspect, it's not, it doesn't feel safe. Being expressing in this way or doing this thing gets a reaction from people around you as such, right? And a lot of times that can be helpful, because what that does is that can condition individuals on the proper way or things not to do, right? You don't just go up and start hitting random people, right? Your mom will tell you that, especially when you're a kid, and you go up and do shit like that, they tell you no. You know what I mean? That's not what we do. But then it gets to a point where it's like, oh, you're a little feminine, or you're a female that talks and has a lot of strong opinions, or all this, and this is one size fits all mentality that basically tries to push us all into a corner perception, right? A corner, like a place where we're up against a hard place and we're not able to be authentic. You know what I
reaction,
mean?
like you were talking about earlier, reaction energy.
Exactly. And when we're desiring certain things in our lives, whether it's love, whether it's success in business, whether it's money, the truth, that I found personally is that we we do tend to lean back on those things, on those different adjustments to placate so that we can receive that. And I think 2023, the epitome of it, especially with it being a water rabbit energy, we were talking about that in the last video, is this opportunity for us to really stand up and embody what that authenticity frequency means. And it's not like this shiny glow up energy, as much as it is this, like, I'm going to, like, if I have to stand in front of a crowd of people naked and be like, this is who the fuck I am, and that's just a metaphor. That's kind of the energy it is. Are you willing to challenge the ways in which people around you are triggered by your authenticity, or
Yeah.
have something to say about it? Are you willing to go out on that date and then be like, well, I'm not, I mean, he's cute, he's got all these things going on, and he's alluring to the old me, right? So do I just go back to my old ways, or do I stand strong and pure and true? You know what I mean? They say good things come to those who wait, because these journeys and this feeling of separation between you and the thing that you want the most is the very thing that's catalyzing you. I repeat, the difference between who you are and who you desire to be, and that space in between is what is catalyzing you. You know what I mean? Because it's that awareness. Why am I not able to manifest? Why do I have difficulty? Back to accountability, right? But I digress. I want to say a prayer, because I just want to say a prayer before I start reading, because I haven't broken that tradition in a long time. So, guides, angels, ancestors, Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, Christ conscious frequency, Sophia Dragon Tribe, we call upon you in this moment, at this time, in this space that we are sharing together, so that we may illuminate the current energies, not as teachers, but as teachers and students. Allow us all to show up as teachers and students in this time where we are all arm in arm, holding the line of light. Allow us to be inspired by your divine, holy messages and guidance and truths. Allow truth, love, and light to be the dominant frequencies of this reading. And I ask that you protect against any distorting energies and or intentions. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Oh, amen.
And,
I'm
uh-huh.
not gonna. I'm. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm feeling super insecure today. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I'm feeling. I set this because I knew, whenever I take time away and then I come back, I feel super insecure, especially when I go through a lot of shadow work, because I lose that shine and luster. And I've told you guys this before, but me coming live and doing all this stuff is not just for money. I really love to do this work. And a part of my distorted, unhealed parts of me were receiving value and worth from all of this. So to step away from it, it always plunges me into this shadow work and awareness. And I'm grateful and blessed to have people in my life that I can turn to, like Jessica, to be able to hold that space.
They say
Right.
truth is, there's a student frequency, right? Then when you go through the student frequency, then there's a teacher frequency,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
then that's when like I call like
Like a rusty doll.
the Bible thumping on the freaking mountaintop screaming, right? The
Mhm.
teacher frequency. And then this is where we are at this moment, the observer frequency.
Yeah.
And it's understanding not everyone is meant to be your student, not everyone is meant to be your mentor. And sometimes you're just meant to absorb and all of a sudden the word went, you just messed my brain all
I'm
over.
sorry. It
There's
just bothered
something
me.
going on.
I felt like we needed to be switched.
Sometimes you're meant to just observe someone, right? Sometimes you have to remind yourself that just as you're entitled to your sovereignty, just as you are entitled to your own perception, so is everyone else. And just because someone has a perception, just because someone has a viewpoint of something, doesn't mean you have to make it about you, right? And this is where it's tricky as an empath, right? As an empath, we absorb all of these frequencies and feelings, and we're like, what do you mean you're not? Like, I'm angry now. I wasn't angry, but now I'm angry. It really, like, okay, so we're meant to receive the frequency. And as an empath, we're meant to recycle that into divine positive energy, right? And that's all we're meant to do. We're not meant to like make it into our universe, start planting trees with whatever that was, that's not our calling as empaths. And it's a journey. I mean, I have been having some major full circle moments the last like 3 4 months. Like it has been quite a thing. And when I think about it, and I was even watching some old videos, it really is the way you communicate with the universe.
Yeah.
And before you really start looking at things, it comes to a point where you have to really start being kinder to yourself. And
Right.
with
Your
that,
relationship with the universe is your relationship with yourself.
exactly.
Right? Because the thoughts that you think, right? We think is like the universe is like just waiting for us to put in our submission or our request when we're already putting in requests. It's about being conscious about all the parts of you you're not conscious about, and bringing and being the observer in that, and allowing yourself to feel that. But rather than rather than get lost in another person's perception, because here's the thing: we've been basing our peace in this phase of life and this and a consciousness that we've come from. We've based our peace on the reaction and the pulse of the world around us, and therefore we've allowed our internal experience to be a reflection of something that is distorted, right? But that's something that we have done unconsciously under the surface for a very long time.
Many
And the
generations.
central card here is the strength card, because people think that the strength, I used to think the strength was like about carnal desires, right? Was about like, you know um don't do things like drinking, smoking, like whatever, like, be strong, like peer pressure, like don't fall for it, right? But in reality, it's much more than that. It's this energy of being able to be in symbiosis, or be in clear balance with all of the parts of you that are unconscious, or that have experienced unconscious tendencies, habits, placations, the parts of you that bring you to do things that make you feel like you're out of control in the I don't know space, right? Things like, for example, I'll use myself for example: smoking cigarettes, right? That's something that me and Jess talk about all the time as something that does not align with our future paradigm. It doesn't. But we don't talk about these conversations in shame of ourselves like, man, if only we understand that there is something there. The space between where we are and where we want to be, and the space in the middle is what is catalyzing us. This energy of, okay, like this is a habit, this is something that we both understand is not a part of our future timeline, but it's speaking something. It's there's a conversation that it's inviting, questions that it's inviting for awareness that even outside of smoking or not smoking is going to make you clearer on what your beast is.
Yeah. And lead you into enlightenment of what actually works for you. You know, enlightenment of the fact that you keep asking questions into things, right? And your body awareness is letting you know that no, you know, no, it's not working for you. And then it becomes a choice, a conscious choice. And the more you ask yourself conscious questions, yes, no questions, and tapping into whatever your authority is to like navigate how you receive your yes no body awareness, really is what assists in changing all of this.
Yeah, there's pendulums, there's body awareness, body yes, body no, there's kinesthetics.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways to
No,
get
he's right though. But he's right. And I thank you for bringing that up, because that is the something that I get entangled in myself. Where I am now and trying to remember to go back to the beginning, right? So in the very beginning, it was pendulum. And that's why I love making the pendulums. And I do, and I saw in here Wandy had said that she loves her pendulum.
Mhm.
The thing about the pendulum and why I am so attached to making them too is because it's the beginning tool of learning to trust yourself, of learning to ask yourself these questions instead of going to other people and having their perceptions on what you should do. Right? Because I'm going to tell you, there are so many times in my life that I remember really, I asked you and I did exactly what you said to do, and it still
And
didn't work.
the
Right?
the wonkiest thing about it is that you can go to somebody and explain to them exactly what happened in your situation, and they still won't be able to have a perception of clarity around what happened better than you do, if that makes sense, you
Yes.
know. But I want to read the strength here real quick. You can sense and feel changes within you more than you can see them. Your trials in this wasteland have made you strong, and what is to come requires you to be stronger than you have ever been. You hear the rumbles of your power deep within. Your greatest adversary cannot escape. Your unending strength dwells in your mind, your heart, your blood. It scratches at its bonds, ready to tear and rend and devour. It can never be silenced. There's no need to even try. It can listen. It can be cajoled. It can be loved. The task will take all of your reserves, but after all, it's what you have been preparing for. I was explaining this before, and I'll say this and then I'll let you continue, Jess. But I was saying this to you before on our like a personal conversation. But it's this feeling of like I felt like in the past, as I felt these bursts and these energetic pushes and these inspirations to come and do this work, right? There was still some kind of ailment or pain that I was working through, right? And it may have been small enough for me to push through it. But the more that I pushed through it, the more that I showed up, ignoring that blip, that thing that's coming up to me on my dashboard light thing, you know, what is it called?
The
What is it
idiot
called?
lights.
What The service light. I'm ignoring the service light when it comes on, right?
The
And I'm
idiot lights.
continuing to move. And I mean, look at the analogy, because I mean, listen, like there were like I'm in a van right now. I could have listened. Like there were some things that I could have put two and two together and been like, this is gonna go badly if I don't, right? But the point of the story is like I push through it and I ignore those things and I don't allow those things to live, and it's my shadow. And then my shadow then gets to a point where it's like, no, sit your ass down because you've been walking on a busted ankle and we're fucking tired. Sit the fuck down. We're tired of this. We're tired of you moving forward, not fully acknowledging X, X, and Y. I'll be completely vulnerable with you guys, and I'll tell you that when I show up, I have to focus on centered being centered. This is why some of you guys that are really tuned in will tell me breathe, drink water, because I can get so lost in your guys' perception because I can become so attached to my work and my value having results, or being able to offer like my energy, my time. Like I want it to mean something, but I have no control. After the message is done, I have no control over what you guys do within your free will, how it's perceived or whatever. So that's something that I have to continuously center myself in, because that's where I get attacked. See that? That's where I get attacked energetically, and in my solar plexus and in all these different energy centers, because I almost turn the radio antenna on there for a second, and then I realize, wait, I'm censoring out for perceptions, and I don't need to do that. um but I think that I've illustrated myself well enough. Jessica, I know you have something you want to say.
Well, the thing is, truth is, okay, like I like to put things under umbrellas, right? Because out of all of that he just said, right? Which all of this like so resonates. I know it does. And I love how he beautifully puts it, right? But what I would take from that is the attachment, right? And the attachment is what is so wonky donkey, dude. Like, and it's bittersweet. Like, seriously, it is so bittersweet because there's a part of you that doesn't want to let go of the attachment. Like,
Yeah.
I have gotten myself to where, like, for 3 years now, 3.5 years, I have been like in my apartment attached to my grandma's house and like barely leaving. Like I only leave when I have to, right? And I was having a conversation with Andy the other day, and I was like, we were talking. What did you tell me I was?
Oh, I told you were agoraphobic.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm not. I go outside. Well, no, first I said, I know I'm dirty, but I'm not that dirty because I honestly became a little hoarder. Like I was being. Sometimes in this journey, you get so lost in the mental work of it that for me, like my human, I put to the side. Like my body has suffered from it. There are certain things about my human life that has kind of drifted with me spending so much time and understanding this. But for me, I have gone through so much trauma in my life, and I had to find out why. And not really why, but where it came from and how to make it stop. Right. And for me, it was really about this process of going from where I was 3 years ago, who could barely breathe, who felt like there was an elephant sitting on my chest, right? And from moving from that energy and choosing that I could not live like this anymore. I could not live in everyone else's perception anymore. I could not live in that world. It was not for me. And so I started finding the world that was for me. And that world was my own world. And it was cool that I had spiritual gifts. I've always had spiritual gifts, but I didn't trust them
Yeah.
because of where my mind had been, because of where my energy had been. Those gifts would be tricky at times,
You have
right?
to understand that those gifts are being perceived through a wall of distortion, and a whole bunch of different smoothies of perception. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's just a whole lot of mixed together shit. And
And
it goes go
it
ahead.
can get spooky. Like it can get spooky and it can scare you, right? And so in that process, I realized like that wasn't my main focus. My focus was my foundation work.
Raphael,
My
no.
my focus was following the train back of all of these entanglements. And this year, you were talking earlier about human stuff. And this year, when this year started off 2022, last year, should I say, now that we're in the new year. 2022 started off amazing. I had beautiful clients. I started a conscious awareness facilitator course. I met amazing women. Some women in there really truly helped untangle with my grandmother. She was an authority figure in her job, and so like having another authority figure person can really help untangle those perceptions and those frequencies that I needed to untangle, which was amazing, right? And then I finished my course, and kind of went to this whole thing of like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. And I didn't know what I was doing. I just wasn't sure how to deliver exactly who I am. Right. And I had to untangle from more people. I had to untangle from more attachments. So that's why I decided to go and hang out with Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, and really feel that energy of filling my aura from the inside out, right? And that's where all this placation energy came from. That's where all of these perception energies, once you can see that's how these holes happen in the aura, now you have a way to start fixing it,
And
right?
here's the thing: the self-awareness when you're in a bubble, you know what I mean,
Well,
can be
so so that's the thing. So truth. Okay, so let me finish real quick. So then I get to the next part and I find my core frequency from my inner child that was really that perception that entangled everything and it devastated me. I went through anger. I went through disgust. I sat in disgust for a while, hung out in the I don't know boat for a little bit, right? Just kind of feeling because it hurt. My human was hurt. It's bittersweet, right? It's bittersweet to find the path. It's bittersweet to see where it is that all of this came from,
yeah,
right? Because now there's no more excuses on why the book can't be all your energy, right? And that's where Andy's talking about where we came to this, right? So I'm in my bubble, I'm comfortable. He tells me that I what is it again? Agoraphobic.
agoraphobic.
Okay. And then I like crushed myself, like, no, I go out and realize everywhere I go out was a security guard. Like, and realizing that, yeah, like maybe I don't go out that often. And then next thing you know, I had an amazing person from my past show up and I got lost in my own story. Like I created this whole story that was not true, and even like looking at my body looked completely different than normal because of this like energy from being around this person. And it was like not hilarious, it was a roller coaster ride, I'm not gonna lie, but it was amazing that I could catch it and I could realize like, well, wait, that's not what I desire, and this isn't even what this person desires, so this is all a hot mess, and this is how everything gets all entangled wonky, and
But
coming from
it's
that. And
important. It's important for us because when we are brave enough to roll up our sleeves, look in the mirror, do all the work that is so natural to us, in order for us to get clear on who we be, and in order for us to get clear on what we truly desire, then we go out and do. And then sometimes those placations, those perceptions, those wonkiness, those things are only uncovered in doing. You know what I mean? And that's just what it all comes down to. It's like this opportunity for what is being invited in this bubblegum kind of aspect of spirituality is this notion that everybody's life is a VIP section.
it's perfection. We're all looking for
Exactly.
perfection, and that's the card. I mean, you can't. That's what it is, and the perfection is learning you. The
Hmm.
perfection is understanding who you are. So, am I going to be more out? Yes. Are things going to change? Yes. And like you said, when you are aware of these things, you can start asking questions, and you can start seeing if it's something that actually serves you or it's not.
Yeah. Kristen, are you here, my love? Because I know you donated for a reading.
Oh, I didn't know she donated.
Yeah. I didn't want to
We
cut
should
you
say we
off.
have donations.
I put it in the comment. I said Kristen is next. Okay. So first and foremost, and I was pulling and focusing on you for a second while Jessica was talking. And the card that I got for you is the Page of Swords to sum up like the king card of the reading. Okay, I'm going to read it to you because this definition is one of the more beautiful ones as well. All is still and quiet as the one keeps watch over their post. With a keen mind to the world's wonders and puzzles, this one watches from the shadows, drinking in all they can see. They move cautiously and aim to be invisible so they can uncover and remember hidden secrets. There is no information they cannot turn to their advantage when the time is right. Kristen, you're going to be shown justice, and not in the sense of people in your life that need to be punished for the things they did for you, but it's almost like when I read this line, um, they move cautiously and aim to be invisible so that they can uncover and remember hidden secrets. It's like you just want to be left alone long enough for you to figure out the flow. You know what I mean? You're tired of this staccato because you're very much so. I'm feeling this energy of being very much so in your masculine energy of like you might have felt tired of this process and ascension, but there's definitely this fire energy, this kick up energy that I'm feeling with you now, you know, and that energy is serving you. But it's also like this energy of like you're anticipating something or someone getting in the way because that's what they've always done. But what happens when I'm thinking of football and you're trying to make it to the like you're trying to run with the ball in your hand to the score line, you know what I mean? And the last person that could have gotten you fell, and now you're on your own. Are you going to be like tweaking out, looking around you to make sure you're not getting caught, or are you going to run your ass to that goal line? You know? And it's not about rushing. That's not the point. It's just an analogy. What I'm saying is like, are you open and ready for other possibilities? Because it's almost like you're protecting yourself from inevitabilities, which is really what? Expectation, you know? Inevitability of, well, this motherfucker's gonna come and fuck with me. I know it. This person's gonna try and do this, and this person's trying to do that, and they know what I'm trying to do, and they're going to make my job and my life harder. And the divine is saying, can you also look for evidence of the recent past where you have been supported, where you actually have been shown that you didn't have a reason to fear or worry? Because that is the sneakiest version of placation. You know, when I feel when we are anticipating another person's actions and we're living by that compass, if that makes sense. I know I'm speaking very poetically today, but the Four of Wands speaks of our foundation, right? And it speaks of the home that you build within yourself, right? I would consider the friendship that I have with Jessica to be a Four of Wands energy, right? And it is that Four of Wands because what it is that space, that foundational space of openness, of safeness, right? Of introspection and questioning. Everything makes sense. And not that everything makes sense, but there's a there's a fertile ground for all of the most organic things to grow. Okay? There's a fertile ground for all of the most organic things to grow. And that is what you have already, Kristen. You have already developed this, right? But this looking over your shoulder energy, you're no longer that. That karmic life, that karmic experience, that karmic cycle is no longer you. Okay. And even though there may be aspects of your life that want to make you feel like you're still there, that's just the devil trying to convince you that you're still in hell when you've reached the gates of heaven. And what I mean by that is that if you really, really look at everything that has occurred, you will see that you have been shown time and time again evidence of your liberation. But it's almost like your human or your unconscious or your traumatized self is still anticipating, you know? The high priestess is telling me that you got a lot going on. Like there's no shortage of intuitive downloads and messages and perceptions for you, even to the point of making you feel like I didn't want to know that. I don't want to have to know that. You know, like there's a simplification and a editing down process that's happening for you because you're like, that's all cool. And in the past, my insecure self, man, wanted to know every little thing because it helped me to put things into perspective. But my logical mind doesn't need that anymore. You know what I mean? I'm good, right? I can know what I need to know. It can be simple. That's it. All I need, all it's all what I need to know, and that's it, right? But with the King of Wands here, I do feel here that like whatever workings you're doing or whatever plans you're making will be protected. There's something about you trying to finish something or trying to like achieve a goal that you weren't able to achieve before. And there's entanglements that you have to work around. And Spirit is saying you are going to be successful. There's going to be some kind of course of action that you're going to be invited into behind this individual's back. They're not going to be looking your way. Okay. And I am seeing here though that there are and springtime is going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of interesting individuals romantically that come forward. It's almost like I've been starving for water for months, and now all of a sudden I'm like surrounded by natural springs. And I'm talking about in the way of love. And all this feeling of drought that you've been experiencing, it is coming to an end. But just like everything, there isn't a timetable on it. You've been getting this message for a long time. You guys need to. No. I'd appreciate it if you guys were open enough to receive this message, which is that you may receive these messages, but they're all in continuity and in, I guess you could say, in alignment with what you choose. So it's less about time. It's less about, it's going to happen on July 15th of 2023. And it's more about, it'll happen when you push forward and continue this unfolding that has already happened and that has already been happening. If you continue the unfolding of you finding your space, you realizing that you are already in the promised land, things are not going to be perfect. Jessica was saying perfection. It's not about perfection, Kristen, but it's about you being able to observe perfection within yourself. Not perfection in the sense of doing everything right, but all of the unique and rare attributes that only you share with spirit within your being. Especially with this high priestess card. This is all about your uniqueness, but there's something about you opening your eyes and realizing that perception is robbing you from seeing that you're already victorious, you're already winning, things are always going already, you're already an energetic dominance of your experience. That doesn't change the fact that there are different elements or aspects of your experience that want to trigger you into believing that it's not real. But I digress. I'm not trying to overpollute this message. It's quite simple. And that is, take a look back over your experience. Whatever stories that you've been telling about opposition or about you not being able to get what you want. And listen, I'm going to listen back to this reading because they're telling me, I can receive it as well. But there's more evidence of the life that you desire than the life that you don't desire. There's more evidence of what you desire than not. It's just you're hardwired and programmed to look for signs that rain is coming when it's going to be sunny skies. I hope that makes sense. I hope that hits.
Oh, yeah, because I'm about to jump right on all of this too.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Truth is, you're going through the detachment part, right? Detachment from your attachment, right? So you had an attachment to a certain perception, right? And you started to live life in that perception. Things have happened, right? And that's no longer the perception or the choice that you're choosing any longer, right? And so now you're in this new part of life, right? And in this new part of life, it's very scary too. And as humans, we tend to, and I'm going to see me personally when I went through my separation, it was quite scary myself. I focused on all the dun dun dun, right? I didn't focus on the light things. I didn't focus on the fact that I didn't feel so terrified any longer. I was free to be who I desired to be, right? And so it's really stepping into your freedom. It's being able to really change your mindset into the freedom that you have instead of the things you've lost or the things you think someone's going to do. Because here's the other thing, right? When you think something, you're telling the universe that's what you desire, right? So when we think like, oh my gosh, no, I just know this is what they're going to do, right? Well, because you're also telling the universe. So experiment, right? Experiment. When you have that dark thought of like, dun, 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 experiment with something that's lighter, right? Well, maybe instead of this miscommunication, we're going to communicate clearly this time, and we're going to really be able to have a path of communication where we can both walk away feeling fulfilled instead of overwhelmed and raw, right? And stepping into that, you're going to start really following your intuition, stepping into the powerful being that you truly are. That, like Andy was just saying, they're showing you signs all around how they're supporting you. Take steps towards positive changes. That's where you're going to start changing your thought pattern, right? You're not going to focus on the scary things you don't desire. You're going to focus on what you desire. So, like, let's say bills are coming up, right? And you're like, I'm not really sure how this is going to do. Instead of like sitting in that worry and stress of how, just sit in this knowing of I do everything possible to make these things come true. So I just know it will. And just know it will. Because what we believe is what's manifested in front of us. And they're asking you to step into your goddess period. It's time for you to really start following your passions. What is it that's calling you, right? What is it that's really for you, not because of
I
someone
was gonna
else?
say, really quick. I was gonna say, Stockholm syndrome is it's a process that also invites us into a karmic pattern where after something is perpetrated against us, then we keep creating it.
Yes.
So dissolve the story, right, and take away the personability. What I'm hearing too is like take away the personability, meaning stop making it like, you being the one who's always like suppressed, right? Or this person's always trying to suppress me. It's personal vendetta against me. No, honey, that's personal with them. That has nothing to do with you, right? And once you're allowing yourself to be like whatever character they're projecting as the person they're trying to hurt, is the person that they're trying to prevent, the person that they're fighting against, you will begin to feel yourself release whatever story you are holding on to around your involvement with this person. This allows you to slip out of the ring without them even noticing. I'm
And it
talking
won't
about
happen in it's not going to happen instantly. Okay, it's going to be over a period of time. It's going to be you constantly choosing it and not choosing to shame yourself even if you do find yourself back in that, right? It's just about constantly choosing and speaking and thinking to the universe what you actually desire instead of everything you don't.
yeah.
And then we have the Dream Weaver card. Grandmother's spider weaves a web every day in pursuit of her goal. The web opens up the realm of possibilities and will help capture opportunities. Like
Hmm.
grandmother's spider, be patient and continue to find new ways to weave creatively. Ugh. Make mindful decisions and learn to avoid tangles as you weave your web. You will reach, let me turn the page. Dun, 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 dun. You will reach your dream with lots of detailed, delicate, and intricate work. And the affirmation for this card is I will weave my web patiently, creatively, and mindfully. My dream will come true. And that's from the Moonbeam Magic deck. And the thing about this deck that I like so much is it really does tap into that, right? And I still have a couple more.
Wait,
But
okay. So while you're doing that real quick, I'm getting a very specific order of instructions, Kristen, and whether you take it or not, I'm not attached to it. But they're saying if you can get like a doll, something with your hair color or something that looks like you, something that for some reason is washable in the washing machine, so like one of those cloth dolls, and you can put the intention that whatever energy, evil eye, whatever influence, or whatever just nastiness is coming from other people to you, put it in that put the intention that that Kristen is going to be the Kristen they are projecting, and then love on that Kristen. Take that doll, clean it, wash it. You know what I mean? Like, give it love the way you would give that version of yourself that has been attacked your whole life that love. They're saying this is something physical. There's something about you in psychometry as well, and your ability to touch and feel and use that as a modality for you to be able to take all of that hatred energy, that distorted energy that they want to put on you, and be able to readdress it to the doll and then treat the doll as if it was you. It is something that might be an interesting modality for you, if that's the right word. But not to interrupt you, Jessica, go ahead.
yeah, no, totally. You have the blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. This card is a card of awakening and energetic upgrades. Perhaps you're going through a period of spontaneous awakening, receiving visions and having experiences that are out of the ordinary. In the
Wait,
West, little is known about the process of spontaneous awakening. and it can feel very scary when we go through it alone. Elsewhere, they can
So
be seen.
yes, yes. Kristen, your things are happening to you. You're getting downloads and things like share them, share them. Because I was literally as Jessica was saying that I saw the alone part, and there's a part of your bell that is ready to resonate with others. But I'm not. I'm done interrupting you, Jessica. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Go
It
ahead.
can be seen as an auspicious experience with those going through them being treated with tender care. The blue beings are thought to be activating beings with great potential for healing and upgrading our cellular structures. They appear in moments of extreme awakening, activating a physical kundalini awakening and deep cellular and DNA healing. Many people glamorize the awakening process. However, in reality, it's much messier and more difficult than most of us believe. But and on that note, it's also so worth it. It really is. Like constantly choosing to live this life, it's worth the yucky, sticky time. We
Mm-hmm.
must first let go of what we think we know for sure and how we make sense of the world. And this isn't easy. The awakening process, even when it's spontaneous, takes a considerable amount of time to integrate. And awakening without integration can leave us feeling very ungrounded. If you're in the midst of an awakening, treat this time as deeply sacred and give yourself ample space to ground and integrate the extreme changes you're going through. Now, here's the truth too on this, and then I have one more card to close it out. Truth, there's people in this chat right here that are pretty much on the same level you are. There are some amazing women in this group and amazing men in this group. And if they weren't amazing, Andy would have already booted them out. Okay? Find a friend in here. Find a friend that's on the same level that you're on right now and have a friend help you through this. Because it's not really help, it's more of assisting, right? Have a friend that you get to meet and your level of honesty is like as authentic as you can be, and be as authentic as you can be, so that way you have a space where your perception is okay. If it wasn't for this connection I have with Andy, I don't see this journey as being as solidifying as it has been, right? And it's not because he agrees with everything I said. I'm going to tell you, most of the time he does not agree with what I say, okay? But in that too, it's also giving me strength to say it's okay for him not to agree. We're still going to be friends. And just because he doesn't agree with it doesn't mean I have to throw it out. It could be just what works for me in my universe. Right before Scorpio season, we realized like he speaks Japanese and I speak freaking Chinese, and they're different languages. And the tone might sound the same, but the thing that we hold that's similar is the I am energy, you know? And that I am energy is what makes this massive change and difference in all of this.
And Wandy, I know you're waiting. You're next, okay? So Wandy also
Last
don't.
card, Dalmatian stone. Watch children playing, and you are watching them learn. Serious though life may seem at times, Dalmatian stone spirit is calling to you to embrace the absurdity of this world, to laugh and find humor in everyday experiences that might otherwise frustrate you. All of us are here to learn, and laughter makes the lesson easier. And that is so freaking true. There's so many
Yeah,
times we laugh about things where I'm like, I gotta laugh about it or I cry.
yeah.
And laughing is also recycling the energy too. And
But
sometimes,
it's also reminding you not to be attached to the world around you, right?
yep,
Because it's like this attachment is what makes everything something to lose. When you realize that all of that is just like a whole bunch of fluff, you know what I?
stories.
It's stories. Thank you. Go ahead, Jess.
And sometimes it even makes it stick a little better. for it can help you write a funny story to tell again. And remember that time? Boy, did I learn my lesson. Now is a good moment to crack a joke to break the tension and remind yourself that alongside trouble and hardship dances a spirit of playfulness. This is not the time for trudging or marching, but the skipping. Sing a song, make a goofy face, and recognize that the conscious universe throws you off course at times to remind you that surprises can be gifts from the invisible realms. Dalmatian Stone Spirit is calling you to lighten up and open yourself to playing with the possibilities. You know what you will discover as you join in on the fun. The conscious universe is not here to trick you, but to help you, for you are deeply loved. I'm hearing that I don't know how many like stones you already have in your collection, Kristen, but I'm hearing crystal gritting, something about fun for you for to be able to step into just some playtime where you
But
still get to be in the energetic healings, but
sometimes
playing.
the trigger comes in and finding lightness feels near impossible, right? But what I'm hearing is that a lot of the heaviness that you still experience and feel from the past, from life, from whatever, from your mom, from all of these different experiences, are the very things that prevent you from feeling safe and coming forward and sharing your beautiful magic, right? Those are the very same things, right? So whatever it is that is still taking up space in you from those things are still the things that show up when you show up and turn the camera on.
Yep. Thank
Okay.
you, Kristen, very much for letting us connect to you. That is what a donated reading looks like.
Yes. Hi, Mumsy. Thank you. She said we're
Hello.
looking good. You
Hello.
know how we do.
Hello. Thank you so much for the
I
reading. It
love
was
Kristen.
amazing. Definitely much appreciated. Thank you, Kristen.
Okay. So, Wandy. Starting off your reading, we have the death card, which I love. Give me a death card every day, all day of the week. Give me a tower card all day, every day of the week. If that means shit's gonna start moving in a different direction, or things are gonna be different than they have been, yes, yes, all day, yes. But okay. I'm at 20% right now. My battery is currently being used for this light. So either if my battery gets to a point before the reading, if we're still halfway through the reading, then I'm just going to be in the dark and you guys are just going to hear me. Cool? Okay. So, death card. And now he has come, the herald of all endings, the angel of oblivion. Black wings spread above him, blotting out the stars. It is the silence between one word and the next. He is time, the great devourer. It serves no purpose to struggle against the door he closes before you. Your task now is to find a new path. Closure, closing the present chapter, sickness and weakness, fear of change. Okay, Wandy, I'm feeling for you. There's this madness and this madness energy, and Jessica, I this, but it's this energy of where people around you are very clearly holding on to perceptions, but are not willing to be honest about the perceptions they're holding on to the point where
Okay, well, I will start talking until he comes. When I started pulling the emotion cards, I have that you are in a period of completion. And as one thing goes through completion, it's bittersweet, right? And what he's talking about is having all these energies around you and having them hold you to certain contracts that maybe you put in, you put in at a certain time in your life, and now they're not working for you. And that's where the bittersweet part comes in, right? Because now we have to redefine what our relationships are with the people in our life, right? And that's not always easy. And in that this process though, it's more about you and focusing on you and your passions than it is focusing on them, right? Because the truth is, if they're really there for you, they're going to understand you choosing something different for you, something that works for you, instead of, consistently choosing things that aren't. And not everybody understands it. And that is perfectly fine too, right? Not everyone has to understand your journey. You have to understand your journey. The more you expand, the more you do your My Name Is Wendy, the more you really tap into who you are, that's going to give you this new space, the space of awakening to who you truly be, the space of not being confused of what it is that you are, right? Because, like, I feel like when we become mothers, we get very, it's kind of like everyone kind of programs us too, that it's like not about us anymore, it's about the kids, right? And I totally agree. Like, it is about the kids. But there is this also frequency of it's not
Oh
just
my
about the kids, it's
God.
about
Okay.
you too. And if you're not putting energy into yourself and making sure you're taking care of yourself, then the energy that you're giving to the kids, like, isn't the quality of energy you're desiring anyways, or anybody. And by hearing it's okay to take time for yourself, it's okay for you to have 5 minutes of breath work, it's okay for you to choose what works for you. That's not something so easy for us to step into, right? The more we tell ourselves it's okay, the more we understand the frequency of what our cup is, right? And asking yourself, does that frequency work for you? And I was talking about that with Andy, like how, we started in this with like blood and water and like all this crazy frequency in my cup. And then I emptied it out and I washed it and I started filling it again. And I emptied it out again, started washing it again, and now I got to this point where I'm like, oh, it's not water, it's plasma. Got the right information, right? Go ahead, you can jump
And
back in now.
oh, okay, I don't even like. I don't. I want to continue with the flow that
You're
you're.
talking about perception, that, and I was on your flow. So you were
Yes.
talking about everybody else's perceptions.
No. How everybody else's perception. They may not be conscious of it, but they're basically attacking you or trying to corner you into a perception, like we were saying before, in order for you to
Hold,
continue to.
but it's holding the contract that you previously obliged in before.
Yeah. Exactly, consciously or unconsciously, right? But the point is that there are people around you who it's almost like you have this burning desire to want to open up your mouth and say things, but you feel like you're unsafe to do so because it doesn't maybe make sense in their universe. You know what I mean? Or it might make you look crazy, or it might be like, where are you coming out of it? Like, it's very easy for somebody to say, where are you making this shit up from?
But
You know
it,
what I mean? But no,
but
in reality,
But truth is, most of the time, the people you have around you aren't really people you get to share this with, right? Because I was the same way. When I started learning this, I was like, oh my gosh, it's this simple. And I was shoving it down everybody's throat. And the more resistance I had from my inner circle of people who didn't understand me, the more I started questioning what I was choosing in the first place, right? So again, it comes
you're
back to
placating.
an outside person.
Yes, you're placating to some kind of outside person or people or structures that are in distortion, that are in the disease of separation. So there's something about you putting your energy in a way to placate to something, someone, or some group that is really giving Three of Swords energy, which is the energy of the intellect and the I know it allness and the rigidness stepping on the toes of your heart and divinity and love and flow and emotion, right? So there's
Ego.
something ego. Hmm. And it's something, for example, it's like I just want to tell this person that I know that they're being passive aggressive with me and I would like to get to a solution, right? But you coming up with that then puts you in a position where you're vulnerable and spirit is saying, now's the time for you to find solutions, because right now you're in the energy of the Queen of Pentacles and she has a rabbit at her foot. That means this is your year. This is the year of the water rabbit. This is the year of the rabbit. Okay, this is your year. And when things start really moving in your direction, which they've been moving in a direction where you're in energetic dominance, where you're not unconsciously creating anymore, where you
I think it's going to come back. But it's true. You've been expanding. You were in the badass group with me. You know, being in Vicky McClin's energy, her powerful manifester energy, just really starts to inform the generators on how to respond to the world, right? You're learning the difference with reaction and response. We've had our one-on-one sessions, and I know how you were an amazing student. So you were totally in this frequency of your inner peace, right? The thing is with inner peace, there's not too many from the past that get to come with you. That's truth. Okay. And does that mean like forever they don't get to come with you? Like, I don't believe that either. But I believe that there is some recalibration time for you, for yourself to go off and do before those people can even start to receive something they're definitely trying to resist. Go ahead, Andy.
Thank you for jumping in whenever I get technical difficulties. But I was saying this is your year, the year of the water rabbit, right? The Queen of Pentacles has the rabbit at her feet. If you're able to step into this perception, rather than wanting to bring sustenance and life and energy, because it's almost like the loving, giving, amazing spirit that you are at your soul is like saying, hey, I don't want to go there if, like, I want to bring all my friends with me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go and not have them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my little Page of Cups over to their Three of Swords, and even though they're in all of this distortion and whatever, I'm gonna bring it to them. They're gonna love it. Then they're just gonna realize I am, and then they're just gonna come through. Can you guys hear me? Cause
Yeah.
did you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when
So
they
that's kind of
don't,
the
then it
vibe that you're
sucks.
feeling right.
But when they don't, it sucks. Like, it really does suck. And I'll be honest, like, as a human, and you bring this to your friends, and they're like, what? You're too much. Like, slow down. That sucks. Like, it does. It sucks, you know? But does that mean you have to stop your journey just because you don't have a human in your immediate circle? Or does that mean that maybe you should find a person that can be in that circle to hold that space for you? Go ahead. Can't hear you. Now I lost your voice. Nope. Sugar plum, I cannot hear you. Believe in your dreams, Wandy. Believe in your dreams. Believe in the wonders of the world. Can you hear me? I'm not muted. Can you still hear me? Hello? I know we couldn't hear Andy, but can you still hear me? Yes. Okay, cool. Believe in the wonders of things, right? Keep your mindset on the things that you actually desire. Don't focus on the things you don't. Think it once, you analyze it, right? Think it more than once, you are manifesting it into existence. That's like serious, you guys. Serious. Like seriously serious. That is how it works. What you think, boom, it happens. And it's crazy. And your human's like, no freaking way, dude. Guess way. That's the way it works. And whoa. And letting go of expectations, right? Finding a path of just learning that you have done the work. You are a good person. You know, you will walk in the life will just unfold for you. You don't have to worry about anything. Worry is off the table. Boom. If it's worrying, no. If you're worrying about something, ask questions into it. Ask questions. Because the worry is what's keeping the solution from you, right? The worry, the disassociation, me hanging out in my box. Like, if I don't go out and socialize with the world, then how can I show the world who I am, right? If I don't go live because instead I'm experimenting and I don't feel authentic on what my... Andy, are you coming back? I know the box is fun. And don't get me wrong, okay? Like, I'm going to say the box is very valid, okay? There is a very amazing time of being in the box. It really is. Amazing time. Is Wandy our last donated reading, or did we have another one? Please, Lord, let's find out what this is. We don't want to leave anybody hanging. Let's try to get you a closeout card, my Wandy darling. Breathe. Breath, you guys. Breath work. YouTube has so many different breath works on there. Breath is such an amazing, important part of all this. The more you oxygenate your system. Jessica, can you invite Andrew? Everything went crazy. And now he's calling me. I don't know what's happening. Give me one moment, please. Well, let me finish this and then I'll figure out what's happening. Because everything is away from me. And then pretty much close out. Because I don't think we have any more. Wandy, can you hear me? Here's your last card. I got kicked off. It's okay, Wandy. It wasn't... I don't remember what I was talking about. But here's your last card, Wandy, my darling. This beautiful... I got a new camera. I'm trying to learn how to focus. There we go. Boom. Oh, I like that. Okay. Lemurian Quartz. Your ability to imagine something bigger and better and draw in what you need in order to heal, feel a sense of well-being, and step into your power as a co-creator is greater than you think. The message of Lemurian Quartz Spirit is that now is the time to free yourself to dream big. What do you see for yourself? How do you picture yourself in the future? What kind of person have you evolved into as... Let's see what it says on the other side. As you strive to fully embrace and enjoy your life. On this healing journey, you are being called to keep your eye on the bigger picture of your experience so that you can recognize your struggles as leading you to epiphanies, allies, and inner wisdom born of lived experience. Lemurian Quartz Spirit reminds you that the capacity to unlock the wisdom of the stars is within you. Just open your connection to the conscious universe and allow your imagination to soar. Very soon, a powerful vision of what is ahead for you will become clear. I feel complete with that. I feel it totally, it's meant to be just you. Looking forward to the future lives and your contributions. Thank you. Andy, do we have any more donations or was Wandy it? Are we closed out after this now that we've having... It's Mercury retrograde. We're going to have technical issues. I'm just happy mine's all working, to be honest. It doesn't normally happen for me like that. So yay. No more. Okay, awesome. Wandy, I adore you. Kristen, thank you so much for connecting in with us tonight too. It was a pleasure to do a reading for you. I think I saw Angel in here. Hi, Angel. Thank you so much for showing up. And who else? I don't see anybody else. Technical issues. It is Mercury retrograde. Love you guys so much. And I will be coming live to share my tools, my keys, my frequency of what I feel can really assist you on this foundation journey and really truly learning who you are. Because I mean, life is too short to live everybody else's energy. I'm ready to live life for my energy and woo, can't wait to share with you guys how everything changes because of that too. So I will be seeing you more often. Thank you very much for showing up for us. Thank you for always popping in when we pop in and out sometimes and go through our healing journey ourselves. We adore you. Namaste. And Jackie, I saw that you are here too. I adore you too. And I will see you guys all the wait. Indeed. Why? Love you guys. Why am I waiting? Are you coming back? Jessica's pages and websites are in the description. Jessica Keys to Ease. The next time I'm going to go live, it's going to start off with my first YouTube video that I will be sharing. So there'll be more of an introduction of who I am. And then the next, I'm going to think going live very often, just sharing the keys and the tools that I have to assist this journey. So thank you again, everyone, so much for hanging out and starting this new 2023 with me and my wonderful bestie, Andrew Peters. And until the next time, namaste, and we are complete.